Hey everyone. So today we are going to discuss my theory on the supercomputer. And I'm going to talk about my thoughts on its functions, such as the return to the past, and what is the possible explanation on it, and well, the functions of the entire thing. So let's begin. First off, this is clearly a trapped ion supercomputer, but we know that it runs on a nuclear battery. But the battery drained to critical levels in common interest. The reason is reactivation Jeremy had, and I'm going to show said reactivation on the next part. As you can see, there was something going on inside the supercomputer, and it seemed to be some fluid or plasma of ions. Plasma of ions, yeah. Ions, by the way, are charged particles, and there is light energy associated with it. The light the supercomputer generated, the light the supercomputer generated is also associated with the return to the past. I'll get to that soon. Now, in the supercomputer, there are ugh, there are data boards, and when it comes to trapped ion quantum computers, there are chips known as ion traps. Ion traps, yeah. And usually it involves something like gold. Then we see the data boards go into individual slots. These ions are floating inside the supercomputer, and so it has to directly connect to whatever contains them. But let's get back to the battery. Now, as you can see, the nuclear battery enters this part of the machine. And because it is going deep, and the only thing past that is the liquid substance-ish mass with ions, and so the nuclear battery is likely feeding the particles inside, which there are visible wires all over here. And where the battery and ions come into play is that reactivation consumes a lot of energy. As a problem happened a little bit after, until Jeremy came into the picture. We know this because after inserting a new battery, there was no problem afterwards. And Franz Hopper didn't have issues with the energy supply as far as we know. Next, the light the machine gives off is the same one that happens when the time reversal is in effect. The ions are able to use their effects on the quantum world, and this goes back to everyone forgetting everything, which the supercomputer is secretly reprogramming reality. Yeah, reprogramming reality, rather than some time magic woo woo. We know the light effects because the ions are part of the give me a moment. The ions are just atoms, so part of the natural world. And when entering a scanner, life forms are dismantled down to the atomic level by another bright light as they are reformed. And when you enter the scanner in are virtualized, you are then unaffected by the effects. And the supercomputer, therefore, is recording data on reality, which will reset everything back to the earlier part of the day. The fact it needs data can affect everything to only reprogram and explain death is impossible to avoid by the supercomputer is altering reality. This means it isn't, again, actual time travel, and the damages to data wars and sabotage were irreversible. Dead people can't be revived either, but that is to do with the fact anyone's atoms in the quantum world are missing, so to speak, and the supercomputer can't reprogram anything if it doesn't have the original material. Yeah. Now you're probably wondering about it gaining qubits, and Xana as well gets stronger and smarter. Well, again, since the supercomputer is reprogramming reality during the time reversals, it takes some atoms from it, like the universe, most definitely, because the ions have spread with that light interacting with more atoms. And during this time, Xana is taking advantage of this moment to learn as the supercomputer is, messing with reality. And Xana uses the qubits to evolve, but because he only evolves a little bit, he doesn't have time to do much. So it's probably takes a while. There's only so much time he can do, like a few minutes or so, more than we see happening during each episode. But it is every time the feature is used. Of course, what I think about the cooling is honestly very simple. There is a laser coolant, which is why there is not radiation from the area of the battery or the supercomputer. That is again just to feed, the battery is again just to feed the ions in that pool. I'm going to call it the pool inside. There is a vacuum, like all trapped ion quantum computers, which, they all have it, so, And being deep below underground in the factory gives it an advantage to insulate and cool down. So, it might be cryogenics, as seen below in the map of the factory, the entire place. But I still feel that it is just laser cooling it uses in there. Anyways, that's pretty much everything. I could have explained the entire components of the machine, like my theory in a different video and on the subreddit, but they were unnecessary, only do the important things that I needed to do. I have no idea what I'll be doing next, but I'll figure something out. Take care, everyone.